In the mountains of Guerrero, Mexico, small towns look peaceful from the outside. Children play in dusty streets. Church bells ring in the afternoon. Neighbors greet each other like family. But behind this quiet life lies a darker reality. For years, powerful drug cartels have controlled many of these regions. Violence, kidnappings, and fear became part of everyday life. One of the most feared groups was the cartel, known as Los Tequileros. They ruled parts of Guerrero through intimidation and brutal force. But in 2016, something happened that no one expected. An ordinary housewife decided to challenge them. Her name was Yadira Guillermo García. In the town of San Miguel Totolapin, life moved slowly and quietly. One respected member of the community was Isauro de Paz Duque, a professional engineer. He worked measuring land and helping neighbors with property surveys. People trusted him. But one afternoon in December 2016, that ordinary day suddenly turned into a nightmare. 3 pickup trucks rushed into the town. Armed men jumped out. Within seconds, they grabbed Isauro, beat him, and forced him into a vehicle. Then the trucks disappeared in a cloud of dust. The entire kidnapping lasted less than 1 minute. Everyone in town knew who was responsible: the cartel. When the news reached Isauro's home, his wife Yadira felt the ground disappear beneath her feet. First came shock, then fear. Soon after, the cartel contacted her with a demand: a ransom. But the amount they asked for was impossible. Her family could never afford it. For a moment, it seemed there was no hope. But something inside Yadira changed. Instead of surrendering to fear, she made a decision. She would fight back. That evening, Yadira gathered the people of her community. Farmers, shopkeepers, mothers, neighbors. Standing before them, she spoke with anger and determination. For years, they had lived under cartel control. But now was their turn to act. Slowly, the community began to organize. Hunting rifles were taken from closets. Old shotguns were cleaned. Machetes used for farming became weapons. Men and women stood together, forming the Civilian Defense Group. A resistance. But Yadira knew something else. They could not defeat the cartel with force alone. They needed leverage. So she made a bold plan. If the cartel had taken her husband, they would take someone important to the cartel. Soon after, a small group of villagers carried out a risky operation. They entered the home of Maria Felix de Almonte Salgado. She was the elderly mother of the cartel leader, known as El Tequilero. The villagers took her into custody, but unlike the cartel, they treated her carefully. She was given food, water, and a safe place to stay. Yadira had no intention of harming her. She only wanted one thing: an exchange. On December 13th, 2016, Yadira recorded a video message. Standing in front of armed villagers, she looked directly into the camera. Her voice was calm but firm. She made a simple proposal: return her husband, and the cartel leader's mother would be returned safely. The video spread across social media. Within hours, thousands of people had seen it. Soon it reached millions. News stations across Mexico began broadcasting the story. For the first time, the whole country was watching, and the government could no longer ignore the situation. For 4 long days, tension filled the town. Villagers guarded the elderly woman. Yadira barely slept. Soldiers and federal police finally arrived, surrounding the area. The pressure from the viral video forced the authorities to intervene. Negotiations began, and finally, an agreement was reached. The exchange would happen under military supervision. On December 15th, both sides arrived at an open field outside the town. Soldiers surrounded the area. Police vehicles stood ready. News cameras waited at a distance. On one side stood the villagers with Yadira. On the other side stood cartel gunmen. Between them, empty ground. Then the moment came. The cartel pushed a thin, exhausted man forward. It was Isauro. He was bruised, dirty, and weak after days in captivity. But he was alive. Slowly he walked across the field. Every step felt endless. When he finally reached the villager's side, Yadira ran toward him. They collapsed into each other's arms, both crying with relief. Around them, the community watched in silence. At the same time, the villagers returned the cartel leader's elderly mother safely to the authorities. The exchange was complete. No shots were fired. No one was killed. In a region known for violence, something extraordinary had happened. An ordinary woman had forced a cartel into negotiation. 2 years later, in 2018, the story reached another conclusion. Mexican federal police launched an operation against El Tequilero. During the confrontation, the cartel leader was killed. For many people in Guerrero, it felt like justice. But Yadira's story did not end there. Her actions inspired people across Mexico. Some saw her as a symbol of courage. Others saw her as proof that communities could fight back. Yet her story also raised difficult questions. When governments fail to protect their citizens, Should ordinary people take justice into their own hands? Today, life in Guerrero continues. Cartel violence has not disappeared. Many communities still rely on civilian defense groups to survive. But in the town of San Miguel Totolapan, people remember what happened in 2016. They remember the moment when one woman refused to accept fear, and how her courage brought an entire community together. Sometimes heroes do not wear uniforms. Sometimes they are ordinary people who simply refuse to give up.